Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're doing another UKMT question here. So the question is, a regular octagon is placed inside a square as shown. The shaded square connects the midpoint of the four sides of the octagon. What fraction of the outer square is shaded? So we can draw the diagram again. So we have our square here. And then we have our four triangles here that make our big octagon. And then we have our shaded square in the middle that connects the four midpoints. Anyways, so we first know we can label some sides. We can label the sides of the octagon 1, as in like we can give that its measurement, and then we can label the remaining sides of the triangles as T. So we have T and T, T and T, and T and T. And because we know it's a regular octagon, that means that this is 1 as well. That is 1, that is 1, and that is 1. And from there we can do the Pythagoras theorem to find out so then we can find out the lengths of the whole square. So we can draw our triangle again. There's really no point you doing that. T squared. So Pythagoras theorem is basically t squared plus t squared equals 1 squared. So t equals 1 over under root 2. So that's our t, and now we can use this to find out our length of our larger square. So the length of our larger square, we know that it is 1 plus whatever we have found out for t. So it'd basically be 1 plus 2t, and we can simplify that further because we know what t is. So 1 plus 1 over root 2 plus 1 over root 2. And then simplifying that further, you have 1 plus 2 over root 2, which is 2 over root 2 is just root 2. So 1 plus root 2. So that is our length of our larger square. And then we can use this to find the length of our smaller square. So we have to explain this, we have the top half of our square. So we have our t and t, and then we have the top half of our square here. And we basically know that to find the lengths of this and that, we know that if we drew a hypothetical square here, the point where it meets here is the midpoint of the square. So if we drew a perpendicular from this point to the end, that basically would just be half of t. So we know this is half of t, we know that's half of t. So it's basically, so we have our 1 plus our height here. So our length of our smaller square would just be 1 plus half t, 2 half t's. So we have our half t here and a half t here. So 1 plus half t plus half t. And we know that's just basically 1 plus t anyways. So we know that our t is 1 over under root 2. And yeah, so that's our length of our our smaller square. Smaller square, and then we can figure that out. So we have 1 over 1, which is basically root 2 over root 2, plus 1 over root 2, which is root 2 plus 1 over root 2. And that would be our length. And now from the beginning we can just find the areas and find the fraction of the two areas. So we have our we have the area of our smallest square, which would just be 1 plus root 2 squared over root 2 squared, and then over our the side of our larger square, which we figured out was 1 plus root 2 squared. And then we can simplify this and basically just do 1 plus root 2 squared over root 2 squared times 1 over 1 plus root 2 squared. So these two cancel out, and then we basically just have these two left. So that's basically 1 over under root 2 squared, which is just basically 1/2. So that is the answer. Thank you guys for watching our video. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and see you next time. Bye!